And we are back on a day that mixes somber with celebration as Michael Jackson is remembered by friends and family at a public memorial in Los Angeles. Now, thousands will watch from behind closed doors as millions watch on their TV sets. Now, we've got correspondents all over. We've got Lee Cowan, Jeff Rawson, Mike Taibbi, Michael Oku. But we are going to begin first with Lee Cowan at the Staples Center with more. Lee?
Hey guys, how are you? They just opened up the gates just a short time ago to allow some of the fans with the tickets to start walking through the Paragage. You can see they're all sort of gathering there behind me, waiting to get into the Staples Center. It's kind of a strange mix here. This is a memorial, so these are certainly mourners, and there is a sense of that, but it's also a celebration of Michael Jackson's life and his music. So there is a sense of sort of enthusiasm and euphoria, and they are fans after all, and they are here to impart to celebrate his music as well. So it's a little bit of both. There's not a huge rush. Everybody has a set seat in there. They've got their ticket and their bracelet, so it's not first come, first served. They know that they're going to have a reserved seat once they get in, and now they're just waiting for the doors to officially open at Staples Center to go in, and for them, they'll get the first chance to see exactly what the stage looks like and everything else inside the Staples Center. Everything getting underway here in about 2.5 hours.
Yeah. Now, it's hard to tell at this point how many of those people actually have the tickets, right? Because we can't tell yet if there's going to be a stampede of people still coming, even though they've been warned not to come, right?
Well, you know, it's interesting. I think what the police did here was essentially push everybody back so far and push the barricades back so far. And even though, I don't know whether you can see these big monitors behind me, there's not going to be anything on those monitors either. So what they did was push the fans back far enough and give them absolutely nothing to see, that if you don't have a ticket, there's really no point in coming down here. You're not going to see the family. You're not going to see really anything at all. You're going to be looking at the side of a building. So what they really tried to do is take away any incentive whatsoever
that was smart.
for anybody without a ticket to come down here. And it seems like it worked. I mean, we've been down here all morning, and all we've seen are people with tickets standing in line, and it so far has been very orderly.
Jeff, real quick, we've been asking this question a lot. We're wondering who's paying for it, and I don't know if this is the appropriate time to ask this or not, but there are a lot of police out there, a lot of barricades and things. Who's picking up the tab for this?
Well, it depends who you ask. There is a certain amount of this that's budgeted for under the police budget for these kind of events, something like this. Certainly there are a lot of city leaders, however, who are saying, look, this is different. This is, after all, a private memorial for a private citizen, public citizen certainly, but that some of that cost is going to have to be offset, and there are discussions underway with the family to see if they can foot some of the bill. There's even a website now where fans themselves can go and try to pitch in for some of the extra cost of this, so it's going to be a big sure to be, that's for sure.
All right.
Thank you, Lee.
So much, Lee.
And Jeff, you're also there at the Staples Center, and you have an update on the investigation that's been going on regarding Michael's death?
Yeah, certainly do. I mean, if you think about it, here we are at the public memorial service, the private burial happening this morning as well, nearly 2 weeks since he died. We still don't officially know what killed him. I mean, there's been a lot of speculation, of course, and even the coroner's office has come out saying he was on prescription drugs. But now police are really hunkering down and honing in on the doctors. They want to find these doctors, and according to published reports, there are 5 of them they're focusing on at this moment, who may have supplied Michael Jackson with those pills. In fact, when officers went into his home in Holmby Hills, California, that mansion he rents, they walked out with bottles and bottles of prescription drugs. And what's interesting here is that some of those bottles did not have any labels on them. Other bottles had aliases on them. They had other names. And so right now, investigators, Hoda and Kathy Lee, you have the DEA involved now. You have state authorities, the State Attorney General's office here in California, and the LAPD going through databases now, trying to literally track down each bottle, pin it to a doctor, pin it to a pharmacy, and then go after criminal charges. But that hasn't happened yet. Could take months, even a year.
It seems like if you have 5 doctors, it wouldn't be that tough to track them down and question them. Have they been able to? Another
5 nervous doctors.
Yeah, they've talked to one, right? Have they talked to the others? Any of the others?
They've talked to Dr. Conrad Murray, who, by the way, NBC News has learned isn't licensed in the state of California to dispense medication at all. For his part, his lawyer denies any wrongdoing. They're beginning to question other doctors now as well, though that list has not been disclosed. Look, these doctors cover their tracks pretty well. It's pretty well known in Hollywood. When you're getting a prescription for a celebrity, you don't always use the celebrity's name. So they have to go through some of these fake names, some of the entourage names, and figure out whose prescription was whose. It actually, you'd think it would be easy, but they need enough evidence to go to court, and that takes some time.
All right. Conrad Murray's also not a board-certified cardiologist, right? So that makes no sense. Thank you so much,
Thanks, Jeff. All right, now we're going to talk about the unresolved issue of who will take care of Michael Jackson's kids. And for that, we go to NBC's Mike Taibbi, also at the Staples Center. Hey, Mike.
Hey, Mike.
How you doing? Yeah, that's going to be a really complicated issue. At first, it wasn't thought that it would be all that complicated. I mean, the idea would be that the Jackson family gets together. Jackson had expressed his own wishes in his will that his mother, Catherine, who's 79 now and not on the best of health, would have first role as custodian, legal custody of the children, and then Diana Ross. But that document is 7 years old. The singer Diana Ross hasn't had any real contact with the kids over the years. And so the judge is going to have to make this decision in the best interest of the three children. And it's complicated, as we know, by the fact that Debbie Rowe, the biological mother of the two oldest children, has said she might or might not challenge for custody. And she's really been pressed and reacting to the pressure. That clip has been running since yesterday of her anger at the paparazzi who've been trailing her around, insisting on getting her answer. Then what about the role of Jackson's 8 siblings, some of whom have children of their own, and all of whom know their nephews and niece as well? That would be Paris and Michael and Prince. Blanket, the youngest child, Jackson child. And finally, there's a role of the longtime nanny for the Jackson's kid, a woman named Grace Rwamba, 42 years old, Ugandan born, the only constant in the lives of the children for most of all of their lives, and by all accounts, very, very close to them. She's back in the Jackson fold. So the judge in this case, Mitchell Beckloff, who's had a lot of experience in these matters, is going to decide the best interest for the children, and that next hearing will be next week in the custody case.
And Mike, quickly, I mean, is there anything specific the judge is looking for to figure out who the kids will go to?
Well, we talked to Raj Sudri, who's a family law specialist in the city of Los Angeles, and she said what the judge is going to look at is who the kids have established a bond with already, some pre-existing relationship.
Then
and
what good
also
is a
who would
will?
not
That doesn't
break
make
up the
sense
three
to
children.
me. I'm sorry, it doesn't make sense. Why have a legal document that's supposed to hold up in court if it can be contested? That was obviously what Michael wanted, and he left it there, or else he would have changed it, right? No?
Because that's 7 years ago. And what if his mother says, and the family decides that she, at 79, wouldn't be the ideal person to have custody of the kids? Maybe it should be Jermaine or one of the sisters, or Reba, the eldest of the siblings. I mean, who knows? The family comes together, they'll get to the judge, and the judge makes that decision. And then there's a question of money. Who controls the assets?
Always money.
Another big factor.
Thank you,
Mike.
Mike.
Thanks so much.
And I guess we're going over to Forest Lawn now,
Yeah.
right? Also with Michael Oku. Michael, was there a burial? Was there a ceremony this morning?
Well, there hasn't been a ceremony this morning yet, guys, but what we understand is that last night members of the Jackson family showed up somewhat late. I mean, we know that LaToya Jackson was here. Several other Jacksons, according to some reports, also showed up here. And we understand that they must have had some sort of a private viewing, in all likelihood some sort of closed casket viewing. In the meantime, what we know is that 30 marked and unmarked police vehicles have descended on the scene here. The barricades have all gone up to guard against potential crowds. And the main artery here, Forest Lawn Drive, has been closed since very early this morning. So they're keeping this area very checked, very much in control at this point. We know that there were fans out here yesterday. We're not seeing any fans here yet today, and that's probably because the road has been closed. In the words of one police officer in a very private moment, he said, "It's all getting very real now."
All right, Michael
Thank you,
Oku.
Michael.
Thank you, Michael.